Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Valiant Minds podcast, extension of Valiance Magazine. Seems like we've been gone for a minute, but we are officially back, and it's been a whirlwind. It's been exciting. What we have here is Liddy Creations, and she was issued or featured in issue 10 of Valiance Magazine, and hope you guys have checked it out. They have a whole new website. Everything is just looking beautiful on that website, and Liddy Creations was featured for her art. But I'm just going to go ahead and open the floor up to her and have her introduce herself. And again, I am your host, Tabitha, so please welcome Liddy Creations.
Well, thank you for having me. Like she said, my name is Liddy Creations. I'm originally from South Carolina, but I'm an artist currently living in LA. I create grad caps, I do digital art, logos, anything that embraces my creative side. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I also just got into skating, so I've been venturing into new ways to express myself rather than just creating art. I now create art with my body, basically. So
it's really awesome. So when you say skating, we'll jump into a little bit about the art aspect, but when you say skating, do you mean like rollerblading or roller skating? I think that's what it is. It's like the four wheels and then the one car. Is that what it is that you're doing?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's really
it's
cool.
It's another creative outlet, basically.
I love that. I love that. So let's jump right into it. And do you want me to call you Liddy or just Liddy Creations?
No, Liddy is fine.
Liddy, okay, all right. So you were featured in issue 10 of Valiance Magazine for your artwork, especially with graduation caps. If you don't mind, obviously we read a little bit, and if you guys have not read her article yet, please go ahead and check out the website Valiance Magazine. It's also going to be in the description down below. But yeah, what got you into designing graduation caps a little bit for our audience to hear from your mouth?
Well, I originally went to the University of South Carolina in Columbia, South Carolina. And for my personal graduation, I decided to do my graduation cap. And it wasn't even like anything serious. I was like, I just want to have something really cool to kind of show off my accomplishment. But one of my friends at graduation was like, that's lit. You should do other people's graduation caps. And I took it as a joke. Like I said, I was like, there's no business in that. Why would I want to do it? And then once I had my graduation, everyone was complimenting me. They were like, oh my gosh, I wish I knew you were doing this. You could have done mine. And then I kind of pondered on it. After going into engineering for 9 months, I started thinking like I was depressed. I was really sad all the time. And I always knew that art was my passion. And I said, that would be a perfect way to get back into doing art is by doing graduation caps. So I started off really small. I did my best friends and maybe 4 other people my first semester. And then I just kept being persistent. I just kept doing it, and then it started growing. So, and honestly, like once I did start doing it more, I got featured on the Shade Room randomly for a grad cap.
Really?
And that's really when like my business took off.
Wow, that's amazing. So have you always been into art, or is it just like you just decided, I'm going to get into art and start designing some graduation caps? Like, how did art become a part of who you are?
Well, art has always been a part of my identity because I started since the 2nd grade. I've always whenever you can pick the extra class you want to take, it's always been art for me. But then I kind of got taken into the world of, you need to make money. People that do art, they starve. So I kind of pushed my passion to the back burner and focused on the money. And that's why I studied engineering. But at the end of the day, if you follow the money, you will never be happy. So I had to push that aside and just follow my dreams.
I love that. I love to hear that, and especially because that's what Valiance Magazine is all about, is just focusing on people who are chasing after their passion, not the everyday 9 to 5, because at the end of the day, if you're not doing something that is fulfilling and that actually makes you excited to get up in the morning, you burn out very quickly, and that's where people get depressed and anxiety and things like that. So I love to hear that you actually went after your passion and being, quote unquote, a creative, so to say.
Thank you.
So where did the name Liddy Creations come from?
Okay, so everyone has always referred to me as being lit, like from college. I was always, well, at first I was really introverted, but then I started to break out of that, and people would say, "Oh, you're lit, like being around you, you have a nice personality." So then one thing that I always dealt with, because I was bullied so much throughout most of my middle school and high school years, I always remembered that I had a lot of self-doubt and a lot of self-sabotaging thoughts. So when I started thinking about the name, the first part of it is "crie," which means believe in Spanish. So I was like, I have to believe in what I'm creating, because if I don't, if I have self-doubt while I'm painting or drawing, it's not going to be lit. It's going to be, half part, well, subpar. So I just figured, Lady Creations, if I believe in the creations, it'll be lit. So that's kind of where the name came
I
from.
like that. That's really
Thank
cool. So you mentioned the Shade Room, and obviously that's like every news outlet for our generation, it seems like. We don't actually watch the news as much.
Right.
But how was that experience? When was this? And how would you say this really impacted you? I know you gave a little bit of a snippet on how it really, kind of pushed you out there a little bit more. But how did that affect you?
I want to say it happened, I started my business back in 2017. And I want to say it was like the beginning of 2018. Like I was still very, very new. And it just randomly happened. And one of my friends from college messaged me, because I started getting all these follows, just people following me. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And they were like, girl, you're on the Shade Room. Go look. And it was me and maybe 10 other artists on there. And that just opened a new door for me. Like I got maybe 1,000 to like 1,100 new follows from that, but it just allowed my art to reach a broader scale. And even if it reached people that aren't graduating, at least word of mouth was in play now, to where, they know their child is graduating, or a cousin, friend, whatever. So it really just gave me like some confidence, because they posted one of my designs that I really didn't like that. And it was just funny to see that it gave me that confidence. Like, even if you don't like something, that doesn't mean other people aren't going to like it as well. So, it just really catapulted my business forward, reaching a broader audience and bringing in new clients.
That's amazing. So would you say you've had any clients where, I guess, are quote unquote known or anything in that caliber yet?
I had one YouTuber, her name is Purple Rain 413, I want to say. And then just recently I had like a bigger celebrity. She's like a childhood celebrity. I don't want to mention her name yet because she hasn't officially booked with me, but she has almost 500,000 followers. So if she books with me, that would be, kind of lit. But that would be pretty much. I think I've only had one YouTuber.
Okay, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So when it comes to art, I know you said you're wanting to, you tend to use art as a way of self-expression and things like that. What other ways do you use art besides graduation caps, I guess you could call it, and the rollerblading or roller skating that you're doing? What other ways do you use art as a form of self-expression?
Well, I would say the main way is through my skating right now, but aside from graduation caps, I do like to paint. I have dabbled in digital art and creating different characters of females. But for the most part right now, I've been channeling my artistic flow into skating, because since I went to school for engineering, I'm kind of uptight, and I feel like I can't make mistakes because that was frowned upon so much. Mm-hmm. So doing skating just gives me a chance to be free. If I make mistakes, it doesn't matter. I can turn it into a cute move, or, just be more free flowing. So that's really where I've been channeling my artistic, vibe right now.
Okay, I love that. So, so I just wanted to ask, essentially, with, the quote unquote a starving artist stigma and things like that, how would you say that putting your full all into being an artist, or have you put your full all into being an artist? And how has that impacted your lifestyle, if at all?
I would say I feel like I can do more as an artist. I feel like most artists feel like they can do more. But we have sometimes those thoughts that keep us kind of caged in sometimes. But the whole starving artist principle, I feel like if that's the mentality you have going into, doing art, that's essentially what's going to happen. You're going to manifest, a lack of clientele or a lack of creative ideas. So initially I took it as a challenge when I heard that, most artists starve. And I just told myself, like, you can do it as long as you're passionate about this and as long as you're doing it with pure intentions. You're going to, attract pure, loyal clientele and people that want to spread your name and want to, attract more business to you. So that was really how I just looked at it. I just approached it from, whatever mindset I have, that's what I'm going to manifest around me. So.
Okay. I like that. Thank you. So when it comes to now being an artist and, the things that you're wanting to achieve, where would you say that you're hoping to possibly see your business in the next 5 years or so? Are you wanting to stay solely in creating the art on graduation caps because that's where it seems like you're being focused on and what you're seen as? Or are you wanting to branch out and do other things?
I'm definitely desiring to branch out into different forms of art. I do appreciate being known as someone that does really high quality grad caps. However, I don't really want to be boxed into just that reputation because it is kind of limiting. Like, I'm only kind of targeting people that are graduating. So I would prefer to see my business go more towards like art prints and me creating, original ideas, original concepts, and essentially incorporating my spirituality more into my art, where I make, different prints that have motivational quotes on them or just inspiring images that people want to hang in their home to just look at as a reminder to keep going. That's really what I desire to do.
Yeah. So you mentioned, because that is the area in which you are focused on, or rather that you're seeing, is when you do high quality grad caps. Would you say that your work is mostly in demand when it comes to those graduating seasons, or are you able to actually create all year round? Are you getting clients all year round, or is it just those seasons of graduations?
Well, normally I get clientele all year round.
Okay.
During the summer, it'll be more so people that, like the high schoolers that are graduating in June, or the people that have summer graduations for college. Okay. But I would say fall and spring time are like the peak times, but the summer I can still get, some orders here and there to make my way through. But okay. I mean, essentially you can have clientele all year round if you market it to high schoolers as well.
Okay, that's something I didn't actually think about. We forget that high schoolers also tend to gravitate toward that, high quality. I want to make a graduation cap. I literally, me personally, never heard of graduation cap designs until college. So yeah, I did not think about high schoolers. So that's really cool. So now we're just going to play a quick little game of kind of like Would You Rather, just to, get our audience to engage with you a little bit and get to understand you from outside of your business. Okay. So would you rather be able to be invisible, or would you rather be able to read minds?
Okay, well, this is going to sound funny. I feel like I can already read minds, so I would prefer to be invisible.
Okay, why is that?
I'm very intuitive, and I'm an empath as well, so most times when I meet people, they don't even have to say anything. I can kind of hear what they're thinking, what's their energy at the moment. It's kind of like a very energetic connection I can have with people without even talking, so I'd much rather prefer to be invisible.
Okay. See, now I have to ask you if you are, someone who is an empath and you can read energies. Now we have to play this little game where I ask you, because this is our first time talking, it's our first time meeting. What would you say is the energy that you could read off of me?
You have a very pure spirit. I feel like you have a big heart. You're very caring to people. Sometimes maybe people might get over on you if you don't speak up about how you feel initially, but I definitely can feel like you're very genuine and you have a really good way with words. I feel like people come to you for advice very often, and you always have like a level-headed explanation for everything. Kind of like you want to keep the peace, be a mediator. You don't like drama. That's the vibe I can get.
Wow. My friends and family would definitely say that's spot on. So that's really cool. That's really, really cool. So what would you say is your birth sign?
Like my zodiac?
Yeah.
I'm a Scorpio. Scorpio sun, Cancer moon, and a Capricorn rising.
Okay, I have no idea what none of that means, honestly.
Yeah, it's your big three. It's your big three. Whenever you look up your zodiacs, your sun is what everyone knows you by, what all of us go by regularly. But your moon talks about how you express your emotions, and your rising is about how people actually view you.
Okay. Oh, wow. I might have to look into that. Okay.
Yeah, girl.
So are you more of a city or a suburbs type of girl? I know you're from North Carolina, but you moved all the way to LA. So where do you stand in this?
I'm more of a, definitely not city. I'm more of a country. Like, I want to be where there's not a lot of houses, not a lot of people, open lands, where you can have your privacy and also like have cookouts and have, big areas to have family and stuff over.
Okay.
Yes.
All right then. So if you could swap lives with anyone, living or dead, for a whole 24 hours, who would it be?
If I could swap lives with someone? Does it has to be like an actual person? Or can it be...
It can be anything.
Honestly, I wouldn't swap lives with a person. It would be probably a bird.
Okay.
Because I feel like the only time we ever can have an aerial view is in a plane, but birds, they're more free flowing. They can fly wherever. I can go up on a tree and watch people, or I can get across the country on my own just by flying. So I feel like being a bird, I don't know, I just want to I like having an aerial view of different things. So yeah,
that's really cool. No one's ever said that before. You're the first. That's really, really cool. I never thought about that. All right, last question. Are you more of a steak or fish?
Neither, because I'm vegan.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I might have to get you to talk to our previous feature. She was in issue 4. Her name is Chandrea Simmons. She's a vegan chef. I'm not vegan, but her food, amazing. Y'all might need to communicate because she's really, really good. So when you said that was like the first person that popped up in my head. But yeah, that's really cool. What made you go into being vegan? Have you always been into that, or you just recently switched?
When I started, like after graduation, when I started living on my own, it was just, the more I ate meat, my face would break out and I felt really lethargic. In addition to being depressed from work, it was just like a lot of heavy energy. So I figured if I can just change one thing right now, it's just my eating habits. So drinking smoothies and just eating more light and nourishing foods, it changes your whole life, changes the way you operate day to day, your mental clarity, all of that. So
that's actually very true. I've never noticed that. And I'm not vegan, I'm not vegetarian. However, I did recently switch my lifestyle in the sense of eating smaller portions and not eating heavier foods and not eating meat so much. And I noticed how different my body actually feels when I don't eat heavy, like carb filled foods. So I was like, oh, maybe this is what, being vegan or being vegetarian must mean. But yeah, that's really nice to understand a little bit more, because people don't talk a lot about veganism and vegetarianism and the impacts that it can actually give you, and the stereotypes, or rather the stigma of you are not getting enough protein because you're not eating meat and dairy.
I think people use that as an excuse to not be vegan, because they feel like it's too much of a commitment, because it's hard to find foods that taste good that are vegan. But on an energetic level, not to scare you or like push anything on you, but everything is energy. And when you eat meats and from animals that have gone through traumatic separations from their kids, or just, gone through a lot of things to be processed, it's like you're absorbing that energy. And I think that's why when you eat meat or like a lot of steak, it weighs you down, because you're absorbing the energy from that animal.
Wow.
So, and that's why you get the itis when you eat a lot of heavy foods. But when you eat vegan, you have energy, and food is supposed to give you energy, because that's what you consume every single day.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No one's ever explained it to me like that. That's really, really interesting. Now I feel like I got to do a little bit more research, but that's for another day. But that's really cool. All right. So I wanted to ask, we're just about done here, but I wanted to ask you, because Valiance Magazine is 2 years old. We are a baby company, and we like to hear when people are actually interested in us, the same way that, I guess they're given the platform to a lot of creatives and people who are not as recognized. It's the same way that it feels good when Valiance is like, people are responding, if that makes sense. So I guess what I wanted to ask is, we see you as someone who is, up that caliber. You're getting up there, you're established, you're doing your thing. But why did you respond to Valiance? What made you actually respond and say, you know what, I actually am really interested. This is cool.
I will say, to be transparent, I saw that it's a Black-owned magazine, ran by females, and I can just, I want to help other queens. I want to uplift, our community, our people, because I feel like we as a whole don't get enough spotlight, and we are amazing. And just the vibe, I'm really big on energy and the vibe. And I looked through y'all's page and I was like, okay, I can dig it. So let me just see what they're talking about.
Oh,
that's really
that.
Honest truth.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. That means a lot. And essentially that's what I really wanted to talk about today with you, Liddy. And it was very nice to be able to have an open and honest and energy healing, honestly. That's what it feels like to me, conversation. Okay. So I guess one thing I would say is, moving forward, which is having you be a part of Valiance Magazine, we always want to look back in the next few years or so at people we featured in the past and just say, hey, how's it going? How are you feeling? How's everything been with you? And if you could possibly do anything in the future to help others, or rather any advice that you can give to upcoming artists or upcoming entrepreneurs, what would your one thing be for them?
I would honestly say, stay true to yourself. Don't chase the money. Follow your passion, and when you do that, the money will chase you. That's the best thing I can say. Just stay pure, stay true to yourself. Don't sell out. Don't be a sellout. Don't do things just for monetary, satisfaction. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be sad, and you can never put a price on your happiness. And that's the biggest thing I've learned through being an entrepreneur. As long as you're happy, everything else will fall into place.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so
No
much.
problem.
Is there anything else that you would like to say? Where can people find you? Where can, graduation season is around the corner. So
It is.
where can people find you if they're interested in getting some quality grad caps made?
Well, they can definitely send me a DM on Instagram. My name is Liddy Creations. That's CREETIONZ. And they can hit me up on there through a DM, or they can hit the little link to email me, send me any ideas, any pictures, all of that stuff, and I will reach out as soon as I can.
Awesome. Is that the only platform that they can reach you on? Do you have a website, anything like that?
I do have a website, and it's mostly to kind of showcase my art. But as far as like ordering a grad cap, Instagram is my primary source of contact.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Liddy. We really appreciate having you be a part of this podcast. So make sure to tune into all the previous podcast episodes if you have not listened to them already. And please continue to support anyone that has been featured in Valiance Magazine as we proceed. And of course, as Liddy said, you can find her more on her Instagram at LiddyCreations_.
No, just Liddy Creations.
Just Liddy Creations, you guys. Liddy Creations. That's it. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Season 2 will be coming soon, and more exciting features, more exciting stories, and more exciting Valiant minds that you will hear. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.